Have you ever felt like life just doesn't fit? Like you're tuned into a different frequency than everyone else? Maybe your family calls you strange, too sensitive, and no matter how hard you try, you always feel slightly out of place. Relationships feel hollow, your 9 to 5, suffocating, both missing the depth your soul craves. But what if that discomfort isn't brokenness? What if it's memory, echoes from lifetimes your soul hasn't forgotten? In ancient spiritual traditions, this feeling has a name. You might be an old soul. Today, you'll discover the 13 hidden signs within your daily experiences, your dreams, your fears, your inner desires, each one revealing how many lifetimes your soul has already lived. But miss this, and you stay misaligned with your true self, feeling like a fish out of water. You're not here by accident. Your soul planned this. It's time to remember. What we call an old soul isn't just a poetic expression. It's a profound concept found in spiritual traditions across the world. Think of it like this. Your inner self carries a rich tapestry of past lives, each one adding layers of understanding and wisdom, far deeper than what one lifetime could ever teach. This deep wisdom doesn't need to be announced. It's felt, it's seen, it's subtly evident in your daily life. You see, old souls carry an energetic depth, a quiet strength that's both magnetic and grounding to those around them. Without fully knowing why, people feel safe around you, understood in your presence. They're drawn to your calmness, your perspective, your uncanny ability to see beyond the surface-level chaos. Have you ever been told you're wise beyond your years, or felt as though you've always known certain truths without ever being taught? These aren't coincidences. They're signals, gentle affirmations from your soul, whispering that your knowing was built, slowly, over lifetimes. Throughout history, great thinkers have explored the concept of reincarnated souls. Plato spoke of the soul's immortality in ancient Greece. Rumi, the 13th century mystic, revealed the soul's journey through multiple lives. Carl Jung described the self as an eternal force, something far beyond ego. Alan Watts said it best: the soul is the universe experiencing itself through countless forms. In Eastern traditions, enlightened teachers like Sri Ramana Maharshi taught that the soul is one with the divine in its purest essence, simply taking different forms across lifetimes. These wise teachers affirmed something vital. You're not imagining things. You're not lost. You are exactly who you're meant to be, carrying the echoes of countless lifetimes within you. As you begin to honor and understand those echoes, your path becomes clearer, gentler, and profoundly aligned with your soul's true purpose. Recognizing yourself as an old soul isn't about claiming superiority or mystical status. It's a comforting realization. It explains why you've always felt slightly out of step with the frantic pace of the modern world, quietly craving depth over distraction, authenticity over illusion. Sign 1. Sense of being different. One of the clearest signs you're an old soul is the persistent, intuitive sense of being different. Since childhood, you've likely noticed a profound difference in how you experience the world, almost as though you were passively observing life rather than fully participating. It's not detachment or disinterest, rather it's an inner knowing, a subtle recognition that the fast pace and materialistic focus of modern life doesn't align with your inner truth. Since childhood, you've likely noticed a profound difference in how you experience the world. Others seem caught up in the rush of daily life, but you were passively observing life rather than fully participating. It's not detachment or disinterest. It's your soul's wisdom, recognizing that there's more to life than the hurried, material-focused world around you. This feeling often manifests as a deep desire for authenticity, meaningful relationships, and genuine conversations, rather than superficial connections. Perhaps you've been labeled as strange, overly sensitive, or someone who keeps to themselves. But those who say these things cannot see the ancient wisdom within you. Your soul carries the quiet knowledge of many lifetimes. Have you ever wondered if you were born into the wrong era or felt profoundly out of place in today's world? Rest assured, this is not a flaw, but a marker of spiritual maturity. Your unique perception is a gift, proof that your soul holds the quiet wisdom of countless lifetimes, guiding you toward a deeper, more meaningful existence. Sign 2. A deep psychology. Psychologically, old souls often carry a rich inner world, one filled with questions that echo across dimensions. You don't just wonder what happens when we die, you remember it. Have you ever stared into the sky and felt an ache in your chest, as if the immense vastness of the universe was already within you? Have you ever asked yourself why you're here, not in a casual way, but as if your entire being demanded to know? These are not questions of curiosity. Old souls are never satisfied with surface answers or conventional wisdom. Your mind may appear calm on the surface, but your inner world, it is anything but quiet. Beneath that stillness lies a universe of emotion, insight, and memory. You feel things deeply, not because you're fragile, but because your consciousness has been refined by lifetimes of feeling. And in that quiet, something miraculous happens. In silence, old souls hear the voice of their own energy. In solitude, they come into resonance with their truest vibration. You may crave time alone, not because you reject others, but because it's the only place where the soul's whispers become clear. So if you've ever wondered why you think so deeply, feel so fully, or question so endlessly, perhaps it's because your soul is not young. Perhaps it remembers, and perhaps it's time you start listening to what it's been trying to tell you all along. Sign 3, the empathic nature. Another powerful trait of the old soul is their empathic nature, an invisible sense that allows them to feel the emotional currents around them without a single word being spoken. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt a heaviness or sensed joy before even seeing a smile? That's not imagination. That's energy. That's your soul reading the invisible. Old souls don't just listen to words. They tune into vibrations, emotions, atmospheres, unspoken pain. They absorb it all. But this gift, as sacred as it is, can feel like a burden, because when you carry the sensitivity of many lifetimes, crowds can overwhelm you. Loud environments can exhaust you, and emotionally chaotic people can drain your inner light. And yet, you remain open, because something deep within you wants to help, to heal, to hold space for others. Whether or not you've chosen a healing path professionally, people are drawn to you when they're in pain. They may not even know why, but they trust you. They feel safe with you. They feel seen. Have you ever had strangers open their heart to you within minutes of meeting? Have you ever felt someone else's sorrow as if it were your own? That's not just empathy. That's soul memory. That's the ancient healer within you, remembering what it means to be in service. Empathy is essential for old souls. Having experienced countless lifetimes of suffering, they understand a vast spectrum of pain and hardship, and this deep familiarity with suffering allows them to truly connect with others who are in pain. Sign 4. Spiritual connection. Spiritually, old souls often find themselves drawn to what others might overlook. The quiet wisdom of ancient texts, the stillness of meditation, the echo of a prayer that feels older than language itself. While many chase spiritual trends or performative rituals, old souls feel pulled toward teachings that are timeless, unchanging, eternal. Have you ever read words from a mystic long past and felt as if they were whispering directly to you across the ages? Have you found yourself resonating with philosophies you've never studied or spiritual symbols you've never learned before? That is not coincidence. That is memory. Old souls do not need instruction in how to connect with the divine. They carry the memory of connection. They meditate not because they were taught, but because the silence feels like home. They pray not to be heard, but because their soul already knows the language of the sacred. Even those raised without religion often awaken to their spiritual nature in deeply personal, intuitive ways. There's a compass inside them that doesn't point north, it points to truth. They may not follow a single path, but their journey is unmistakably spiritual. They walk guided by vibration, pulled toward what resonates, and gently repelled by what feels hollow. And while others may seek validation from outside structures or spiritual authorities, old souls trust the wisdom rising from within. They don't need to be told what feels right. They already know. They are not searching for belief. They are remembering alignment. So if you've ever felt more at home in temples you've never visited, that's because your soul has already traveled a spiritual path in previous lifetimes, and your soul remembers this journey. It is quietly guiding you back to it. Sign 5. Energetic presence. There is one sign so subtle, yet so powerful, that others feel it before you ever speak a word. It's not something you wear, say, or do. It's something you radiate. Old souls carry a kind of energetic gravity. Their presence shifts a room, softens tension, brings stillness to chaos. It's not about charisma, not about charm. It's something deeper, something ancient. Their aura holds the weight of many lifetimes, and you can feel it. Calm, grounded, magnetic. You don't need to prove yourself, because your vibration speaks louder than any achievement. You don't need to chase recognition, because your presence already commands respect, not through power, but through peace. You carry a resonance that young souls don't yet understand. While a young soul seeks stimulation, validation, and noise, you've learned to rest in stillness and simply be. Because somewhere deep within, you remember the truth. Everything is temporary, except presence, except love, except soul. That is the real wealth of the old soul, not in what they own, but in what they emanate. And this is perhaps the most subtle, yet most profound confirmation of soul age. Because only a soul that has journeyed through lifetimes, one that has felt, lost, healed, and remembered, can radiate stillness without effort, love without attachment, and truth without speaking. Your energy is not just a reflection of who you are now. It's a resonance shaped by every lifetime your soul has lived. And when others feel that presence, what they're sensing isn't just you. They're sensing the echo of your entire soul's story. But what if some parts of that story still ache? Sign 6. Past life wounds. Many old souls carry wounds not born in this life, but carried through it. Silent echoes from lifetimes past. These aren't ordinary struggles. They are soul scars, emotional imprints left by loss, betrayal, trauma, or unfinished lessons from other incarnations. For example, if you drowned in a past life, you might now carry a fear of swimming, oceans, even cruises. If you were betrayed by someone you deeply trusted, you might find it difficult to fully open your heart, even when love is safe. If you lived through war, loud noises or sudden conflict may trigger a deep unease that doesn't quite make sense. These fears and reactions may seem irrational, but they are echoes of your soul's lived memory. The soul remembers what the mind forgets, and sometimes that memory shows itself through unexplained sadness, recurring dreams, or an inner heaviness that logic cannot soothe. You're not broken, you're remembering. Old souls don't carry wounds as punishments, they carry them as portals. Each scar is a doorway to healing, a thread that connects your current journey to one's long past. Through awareness, you have the sacred opportunity to heal not just yourself, but the echoes of all your past selves. Healing these soul wounds isn't just a mental process, it's a journey of energy, compassion, and deep inner listening. When you embrace healing what you don't fully understand, you transform not only your current life, but your entire spiritual lineage, because every step toward healing is a step toward wholeness. And every act of soul healing ripples both backward and forward, across the timeless path of your evolution. But just as the soul carries old wounds, it also carries old gifts. Sign 7. Talents. Just as the soul carries echoes of its deepest fears, it also carries what it has mastered. Have you ever picked up a skill with no explanation, played an instrument, spoken a language, or moved your body in rhythm as if you've done it 1,000 times before? These aren't accidents. These are memories surfacing, not of trauma this time, but of talent. A woman who dances with grace and intensity may have once been a temple dancer, offering sacred movement to the divine. A man who intuitively understands herbal medicine may have been a healer or shaman in lifetimes past. A child who solves complex equations without effort may be continuing the legacy of a soul who once lived as a mathematician, philosopher, or scientist. A singer with a haunting voice may be channeling chants from temples they once served in. The soul doesn't forget what it has learned. It doesn't lose its wisdom or its gifts. It waits patiently until the moment is right, until the environment and the energy align to awaken that knowing once again. This is soul memory, reactivating through talent, a kind of spiritual muscle memory, written not in the body, but in the essence of who you are. Have you ever wondered why some things feel easy, like you've done them before? Why your hands move with knowledge your mind can't explain? What if those gifts are not new at all, but ancient abilities returning home? Don't dismiss what comes naturally to you. Follow it. Nourish it. It's not just a talent, it's a thread connecting you to the soul you've always been. Sign 8. Karmic completion. Some souls carry a vibration unlike any other. It's the quiet frequency of karmic completion, the energy of a soul preparing to graduate from the earthly cycle of reincarnation. These souls don't come to gather more experience, but to release the weight of all they've already lived. Have you ever felt a strange inner knowing that this could be your final life here? A pull toward forgiveness, so deep it overrides your pride, an urge to love so unconditionally, it frightens your ego. These are not random spiritual urges, they are signs. Signs your soul may be ready to close an ancient chapter. Those walking with karmic completion energy often awaken early, sometimes through trauma, sometimes through spontaneous remembrance, but always with a sense of urgency, not rushed. but sacred. As if something deep within them knows, this is the lifetime to resolve what remains. They often feel detached from worldly ambitions, not because they're lazy or indifferent, but because they remember that none of it lasts. Fame, fortune, validation, it all pales in comparison to presence, peace, and inner liberation. Do you feel called to let go of everything that weighs you down, even if it means stepping into the unknown? Do you feel an ache for closure, not just in your life, but in your lineage? Do you long for freedom that feels spiritual, not circumstantial? That is karmic completion whispering. It's not an escape, it's a return, a journey back to the self behind all stories, a homecoming to the vastness your soul has always known, a reunion with the source from which you came. And if that's your path, know this: your soul has earned its rest, and every moment you spend in alignment, in compassion, in surrender, you are dissolving the final threads that bind you to the cycle, not with resistance, but with grace. Sign 9. Past life connections. Have you ever felt inexplicably drawn to a particular time period or culture? Ancient Egypt, Renaissance Italy, feudal Japan, as if a part of you had lived there. These aren't random interests. They're soul fragments, reactivating. The more lives your soul has lived, the more echoes it carries. These echoes don't speak through logic. They speak through fascination, longing, and déjà vu. A strange familiarity with a place you've never visited. A language that rolls off your tongue with ease, though you've never studied it. A style of music, art, or architecture that stirs something deep inside you, without explanation. These are not hobbies. They're memories surfacing. Perhaps you've always been fascinated by Celtic symbols without knowing why, only to later discover their meaning mirrors a recurring dream you've had for years. Maybe as a child, you instinctively bowed your head and murmured words during quiet moments, only to realize later your movements mirrored ancient Eastern prayer rituals. Or you felt a deep emotional reaction watching a film set in a distant era, one that leaves you in tears, even though you can't explain why. These impressions, these stirrings, are not fantasy. They are your soul's handwriting, scattered across centuries, waiting to be read again. Past life fragments often emerge in moments when the conscious mind is quiet, during dreams, in meditation, while creating, or in states of altered awareness. When the veil between lives softens, the soul's story slips through. And the more you pay attention to these subtle activations, the more your soul reveals, not in full sentences, but in impressions. Not as history, but as remembrance. You are not just discovering history, you are retrieving your own. Sign 10. Distorted time perception. And as your soul begins to stretch across multiple places you feel connected to, you might also begin to notice something else. Your relationship with time. It's built different. For many old souls, time begins to feel strange. Days blur together, months pass like weeks, and moments of stillness feel like they stretch on forever. You may find it difficult to anchor to clocks, calendars, or even your age. Not because you're distracted, but because your soul is no longer bound by time in the way it once was. Have you ever had a conversation that seemed to last hours, only to look at the clock and see that minutes had passed? Or the opposite, an entire day slips away, and you're not sure where it went. These distortions in perception aren't just mental, they're energetic. You're not losing track of time, you're remembering that time is not linear. The more your consciousness expands, the more you live in the eternal now, that timeless space where your soul has always existed. Your memories blur not because you're forgetful, but because your soul doesn't divide things by years, only by energy. Old souls often carry multidimensional memory. They remember too much to fully fit inside one timeline. They may feel simultaneously young and ancient, here and not here, grounded yet floating. This is not confusion, it's transcendence. Have you ever felt out of sync with the pace of life, like the world is running, but your soul is walking slowly, with intention? That's not laziness, that's wisdom. Time distortion is one of the clearest signs that your consciousness is beginning to loosen. From the illusion of linear living, you are not behind. You are not ahead. You are exactly where your soul needs to be, in the now. Because in that now, all your lives, all your lessons, and all your light converge. And from there, you begin to remember who you've always been, outside of time. Sign 11. Soul family recognition. Sometimes the strongest sign that you've lived before is not within you. It's someone else. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and felt like you were picking up a conversation you never remembered starting? Have you ever met someone for the first time, and yet every cell in your body whispers, "I know you"? This isn't imagination. This is recognition. This is soul memory. Old souls often travel in soul families, groups of spirits who reincarnate together across lifetimes, changing roles but remaining energetically connected. A lover in one life may return as a parent, sibling, teacher, or child in the next. Even someone who once harmed you may reappear, not to repeat the pain, but to help heal it. These connections are not random. They are purposeful, designed by the soul for growth, forgiveness, completion, and love. Sometimes you'll meet someone and feel an instant surge of affection or an unexplainable distrust. These emotional reactions are not always about the present. They're echoes from past lives. Your soul remembers who they were to you, even if your mind does not. Have you ever felt like someone came into your life at exactly the right time, as if it had been orchestrated, or had a relationship that felt larger than life, intense beyond logic, like something karmic was playing out beneath the surface? Soul family members can trigger us, heal us, teach us, and awaken us. They are mirrors, reflecting aspects of ourselves across lifetimes. Some walk with us, our whole life. Others enter briefly, like lightning, illuminating a hidden truth before disappearing again. The love you feel, the lessons you face, the friction or the harmony. It's not all new, it's continuation, completion. A sacred contract your soul once agreed to. So the next time you meet someone and feel that sense of immediate knowing, pause. Listen. It might not be the first time you've met. It might just be the next chapter in a very old story. Sign 12. Vivid dream memories. Soul memories often show up in dreams, but they are not the chaotic, symbolic kind shaped by the subconscious. These are vivid, immersive, and emotionally charged experiences that feel more real than reality itself. You might find yourself walking down streets you've never seen, yet somehow know every turn. You may wake with the distinct sense that you've just returned from another life. Let me share a profound dream experience that illustrates these soul memories. In one such dream, I found myself holding an ancient document, an official treaty, aged and delicate, signed by the hands of leaders. Every detail was crystal clear, from the signatures of long-forgotten leaders to the weight of historical significance in the room. I wasn't just watching. I was someone, a statesman perhaps, a diplomat, someone entrusted with great responsibility. I could feel the gravity of the moment in my body, the ink, the signatures, the tension in the air. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like a memory. That dream didn't leave me. It stayed for days. And in that lingering, I realized I've likely lived as a politician, a negotiator, a voice between nations. That part of my soul had reawakened, not through history books, but in sleep. Perhaps you've had similar experiences, waking up with tears streaming down your face, or your heart pounding, because a dream felt so intensely real, so rich in detail, that it couldn't possibly be mere imagination. These vivid dreams aren't random creations of your mind. They're windows into the lives your soul has lived before. Memories rising to the surface when your conscious mind is quiet enough to receive them. Remember, the soul doesn't sleep. When the mind rests, the soul reveals. And dreams become the pages where your spirit writes the stories it's not yet ready to forget. These dreams often emerge at very specific moments, when your energy is shifting, when your spirit is integrating, or when you're standing at a crossroad in your evolution. They are especially common after intense spiritual work, deep meditation, or energy healing sessions. It's as if the soul, having been stirred, chooses that moment to release something it's been holding, quietly. And sometimes these dreams don't come as stories, they come as emotions. You might dream of a mother you've never known, and wake up sobbing with a sense of loss. You might speak a language you've never heard with perfect fluency, or feel an overwhelming love for people who don't exist in this life, but who your soul recognizes. These are not meaningless projections. They are integrations. Your spirit, in its wisdom, using dreams as a bridge between dimensions, between who you were and who you're becoming. If you've had these dreams, trust them, write them down, reflect on their colors, their feelings, the messages that linger. Because often, these aren't dreams you had. They are places you return to. Sign 13. Resistance to indoctrination. Have you always felt uneasy when someone tells you what to believe? When doctrines are presented as absolute? When systems demand obedience without space for questioning? That discomfort isn't defiance, it's wisdom, remembering. Old souls often carry a quiet but powerful resistance to indoctrination, not out of rebellion, but because they've lived under many systems before. Religions, governments, ideologies. They've worn the robes, followed the orders, preached the creeds, and eventually outgrown them. If you're someone who needs to feel truth before accepting it, who distrusts anything that tries to tell you who you are or what to think, you may be walking with soul memory. Because deep down, you already know. Truth can't be handed to you. It must rise within. This doesn't mean old souls are closed off. In fact, they explore a wide range of teachings, but they're seekers, not followers. They gather pieces, integrate insights, and create their own mosaic of meaning. Their compass isn't dogma, it's resonance. Have you ever walked away from something everyone else believed in, simply because it didn't sit right in your body? Have you trusted your intuition, even when it made no logical sense? That's your soul remembering its sovereignty. Somewhere along your many lives, you likely experienced what it means to be controlled by a system that promised truth, but delivered confinement. And now, you're here to reclaim your voice. You may find it difficult to belong to groups that demand sameness. You may resist trends, movements, or belief systems that feel more like cages than containers for growth. Not because you're antisocial, because your soul remembers how precious freedom truly is. This resistance often appears early in life. As a child, you may have questioned religious teachings others accepted blindly. You may have challenged classroom rules, felt restless in rigid environments, where curiosity wasn't welcomed. You weren't being difficult, you were remembering the cost of conformity from lifetimes past. Old souls have lived as the priest and the prisoner, the ruler and the rebel. They know how systems are built and how they collapse. And so, in this life, their spirit naturally resists anything that smells of spiritual control, political dogma, or cultural manipulation. And in that freedom, there's something beautiful. Old souls often create their own spiritual paths, not to be different, but to be authentic. They blend truths they've lived before with insights they've gained now. They follow resonance, not reputation, energy, not endorsement. You may never find one label that fits you, one teacher, one path. And that's not a flaw. It's a sign that your soul has outgrown the need to be led and is ready instead to listen inward. So when the world tries to hand you a script, pause. When it demands that you conform, breathe. You are not here to be molded. You are here to remember. You are here to walk the quiet, sovereign path of a soul that's been through it all and still chooses truth. So now, take a breath. Maybe you're beginning to see that you were never too sensitive, too strange, or too far removed from the world. You were simply ancient, timeless, and in many ways, you were always remembering. The dreams, the talents, the fears, the fragments, the pull towards certain people, places, or practices, it's all been leading you back here, to this moment, to this knowing. You are not broken. You are not imagining things. You are remembering. Your soul has lived through beauty and sorrow, power and surrender, silence and song, and every thread of those lives is still part of the tapestry you are weaving right now. This life, this breath, is not the beginning. It's a continuation, a sacred echo. So what now? Now you begin to listen, not to others, but to the quiet voice within you, the one that already knows what's true. You begin to trust what resonates. You begin to live not just as a human, but as a soul in motion. Write down your dreams. Pay attention to the signs. Notice who or what pulls at your heart without reason. These are the breadcrumbs of memory, calling you home. You are not here by accident. Your soul brought you, and the remembering has already begun. Now, we've explored the hidden signs, dreams, talents, time distortions, and soul connections that reveal how many lives your soul may have lived. But there's an even deeper layer your spirit longs to remember. What if everything you've experienced so far is only the preparation, and your soul is standing at the edge of something sacred, something it's done countless times before? In the next video, you'll uncover the 7 sacred stages your soul passes through before incarnating into this life. Each one is a divine initiation that shapes your destiny, your challenges, and your purpose on Earth. So click on the video appearing on screen right now, because once you understand the path your soul takes before birth, everything happening in your life after it will finally start to make sense.